From the top 10 will be new movies that I hadn't talked about much of in previous content. Also, as with my other best Korean movies lists, I'll be explaining some basic background info regarding the films, giving a short synopsis and description of the movies, but won't be giving any in-depth reviews. Please remember that this list consists of not only my favorite action movies, but also ones that I thought were deserving of more recognition. These are composed of my personal favorites. They are subjective to my biased opinions and are based on my personal taste. If you have differing views and opinions, please respectfully leave them in the comments, and if you would like to further discuss, join the Eontalk Telegram group where you can talk about Korean movie related topics with a lot of K-film enthusiasts. That being said, let's jump into today's video on best Korean action movies. Starting off the list, the number 15 film is the 2017 movie The Outlaws. The Outlaws stars Don Lee aka Ma Dong-seok, Yoon Ge-sang, Jo Jae-yoon, Choi Gi-hwa, Im Hyung-jun, Jin Sung-gyu, Hong Gi-jun, Ho Dong-won, and Park Ji-wan, and was directed by Kang Yun-sung, who also directed Long Live the King. The film is based on true stories that took place in 2004's Seoul, which makes the film that much more intriguing. The movie not only has Don Lee's incredible action performance, but really showcased Yoon Ge-sang as a chilling villain. It's Yoon Ge-sang that had a very memorable performance, and his catchphrase, "니네 누군지 아니?" was a trend for a while following this movie. Furthermore, this really marked the start of major popularity for Jin Sung-gyu. The synopsis of The Outlaws is as follows. In 2004, a vicious boss of a new crime organization, Jiang Chen, comes to Seoul from Harbin and overthrows the existing gangs. In order to catch the upcoming thug, the beastly cop, Ma Seok-do, who's famous for using his fist to maintain peace in the neighborhood, and his team plan a strategy to end the reign of the recently formed gang. The number 14 movie goes to the 2015 film, Veteran. Veteran had an incredible cast of Hwang Jung-min, Yoo Ah-in, Yoo Hae-jin, Oh Dal-soo, Chang Yun-ju, Jung Woo-min, and Chung Man-sik, and I've mentioned Veteran many times in my other videos. The film was directed by Lee Seung-wan, who also directed The Battleship Island, The Berlin Fire, and The Unjust, and features the famous line of Yoo Ah-in's "어이가 없네," and incredible acting performances by all the main leads. Fun fact, Don Lee makes a cameo appearance in Veteran and leaves a strong impression in the short time he's on screen. Also, Park So-dam, who starred in Parasite, had a small role in this movie as well. I've got a written review of the film on the Eontalk website, so you can read more about the film there, linked in the description. The synopsis of Veteran is as follows. The notorious crime investigation team, known for being fearless, persistent, and flawless, successfully completes another case that they've been working long and hard on. Seo Do-chul, a hard-headed member of the team, goes out in celebration to a club and meets Jo Tae-ho, a son of a chaebol, in a VIP room. Do-chul gets a strange feeling about Tae-ho, and his instincts tell him to have a close watch on him. And sure enough, he begins to see connections between Tae-ho and a serious incident that takes place involving a mutual acquaintance. As Do-chul takes it upon himself to get to the bottom of the case, he's constantly warned by Tae-ho's team and even his supervisors to back down. But he stops at no one's threats, and he aspires to take Tae-ho down to bring justice to the system. Next, the number 13 film is the movie that placed Korean cinema on the global map, Train to Busan. This zombie film was released back in 2016 and stars the likes of Gong Yoo, Chung Yoo-mi, Ma Dong-seok, Kim Soo-han, Kim Il-sung, Choi Woo-sik, and An So-hee. The movie was directed by Yeon Sang-ho, who also directed Psychokinesis, and also directed the upcoming follow-up to Train to Busan, titled Peninsula. I believe Train to Busan will also be remade in Hollywood, which I'm looking forward to, but highly doubt will live up to the Korean Train to Busan name. The synopsis of the movie is as follows. A state of emergency is announced as an unknown virus spreads throughout South Korea. On a train bound for a southern city of Korea, known as Busan, that's also known to be a safe ground from the virus, various circumstances arise. What seemed to be a normal train ride turns into a 442-kilometer battle of survival. Moving along, the number 12 movie is the 2010 released action film, The Man from Nowhere. This is one of the action films of Korea, as it has one of the best performances by the main lead actor, Won Bin. His head shaving scene is one of the most memorable scenes of Korean cinema. Starring alongside Won Bin were Kim Se-ron, Kim Tae-hoon, Kim Hee-won, Kim Sung-ho, Lee Jong-pil, and Ta-na-young Won-tul-langkul, and the movie was directed by Lee Jung-bum, who also directed Jo Pil-ho, The Dawning Rage, and No Tears for the Dead. This is another movie that I believe is getting a Hollywood remake, but as with Train to Busan, I doubt it'll live up to the original's name. The synopsis of The Man from Nowhere is as follows. Tae-sik is a former special agent who lost his wife and unborn child due to an unfortunate accident and is now living a lonely life running a pawn shop. One of his frequent visitors of the pawn shop is a young girl that lives next door to him, Somi. One day, Somi suddenly disappears. She was kidnapped because her mother was involved in a crime incident involving some bad people. In order to save his only friend, Tae-sik chases after the people who took Somi and sets up a deal with the organization. However, rescuing Somi is a lot more difficult than he had thought, and the cops start chasing after his tail. The number 11 movie is the oldest film on this list, Oldboy. Oldboy is not only a great action film, but is also an incredible thriller and mystery movie as well. The film stars Choi Min-sik, Yoo Ji-tae, Kang Ye-jung, Kim Byung-ok, Oh Dal-soo, and Yoon Ji-seo, and was directed by one of Korea's most well-known directors, Park Chan-wook. Park Chan-wook also directed other great films such as Joint Security Area, The Handmaiden, Thirst, and Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. Oldboy has one of the best twists and has numerous memorable scenes. The film was remade in 2013 in Hollywood by director Spike Lee, but ultimately failed to do any damage at the box offices. Just another reason to support my previous claim that the remakes won't do the originals justice. Anyways, the synopsis of the movie is as follows. In 1988, a normal man who lives with his wife and daughter, Oh Dae-soo, wakes up one day to find himself in an unknown room. Tae-soo tries to escape and even attempts to kill himself while being in prison, but he fails to do so. He spends years trying to find the reason as to why the people that imprisoned him did so, but he's unable to come to a conclusion. As his days in solitude grows, his anger with the people who kidnapped him grows as well, and he swears that he'll take revenge on those that destroyed his life. 15 years pass, and he's suddenly released from the room. What makes things even more confusing is the fact that he was left with a wallet full of money and a mobile phone. An unknown man calls Tae-soo on the phone and tells him to figure out why he was imprisoned. Then, a young lady, Mido, comes into his life and promises to help him get his revenge. The two start chasing after the mystery of Tae-soo's imprisonment, but the reality is much more shocking than either one of them could have imagined. Before going to the top 10 list, I'd just like to remind you all that the number 15 to number 11 movies that were just mentioned were placed in those spots because I featured them in other videos before. This means that they aren't in the bottom 5 positions because I think they are worse than the upcoming top 10, but just because I wanted to bring newer films into the top 10 list. Now that we got that cleared up, let's get into the top 10. Coming in at number 10 of my list of favorite Korean action films is the most recently released movie on the list, Ashfall. Starring Lee Byung-hun, Ha Jung-woo, Dawn Lee aka Ma Dong-seok, Jeon Hae-jin, Suji, Lee Sang-won, Ok Ja-yeon, Han Soo-yeon, Kang Shin-chul, and Kim Si-ah, Ashfall had two directors, Lee Hae-jun and Kim Byung-seo. Lee Hae-jun also directed My Dictator and Castaway on the Moon, and Kim Byung-seo directed Cold Eyes. To be completely honest, the movie didn't have a very good story, but the acting and the action were definitely great. It's a little disappointing that they couldn't have made a better film with the amazing cast it had. Anyways, the synopsis of Ashfall is as follows. One of the biggest explosions in Korean history occurs as Mount Baekdu erupts and the Korean peninsula turns into chaos. With more explosions expected to follow, Chun Yu-kyung plans an operation to stop the eruptions based on the theories of Professor Kang. Taking lead of the operation is a Special Forces agent, Cho In-chang, and he's able to make contact with Lee Jun-pyong, an agent in the North Korean forces who holds the key to completing the mission. However, things don't go as planned, and with the explosions of Mount Baekdu nearing, the South and North Korean agents must do whatever it takes to save the people of the Korean peninsula. Moving on to the number 9 spot, the number 9 movie goes to the 2018 film Unstoppable. This crime action movie stars one of the most iconic action stars of Korean cinema, Dawn Lee aka Ma Dong-seok, as well as Song Ji-hyo, Kim Sung-ho, Kim Min-jae, Park Ji-wan, and Lee Sung-woo. The film was directed by Kim Min-ho, who made his feature film debut with this movie, and although the main leads, Dawn Lee and Song Ji-hyo, were great, the villain role played by Kim Sang-ho was very chilling and was reminiscent of his protagonist role in the number 12 movie of this list, The Man from Nowhere. I've got a written review of Unstoppable as well on the Eontalk site for those that want to read more about it. The synopsis of the movie is as follows. After having a rough and thuggish life, Dongchul shifts his life around 180 degrees after meeting his wife, Jisoo. He now lives a normal, dedicated life working at a local fish market. That is, until his wife is taken by unknown men. A report is filed with the police, but nothing really comes of it. Suddenly, he receives a call from the kidnapper. This abduction is different from common ones. Rather than the abductor asking for ransom money, he instead gives Dongchul a hefty amount of cash as payment for taking his wife. Enraged by this, Dongchul starts to track down the suspects in order to get his wife back, with the vengeance to show that he's not someone to be messed with. Next, the number 8 spot is the 2016 film, Master. Master is another crime action film and stars the likes of Lee Byung-hun, Kang Dong-won, Kim Woo-bin, Ji-won, Oh Dal-soo, and Jin Young, and was directed by Cho Hee-seok, who also directed Cold Eyes and The World of Silence. If you're like me and love Korean crime films, I definitely recommend checking this out. The synopsis of Master is as follows. The chairman of one network, Jin, is a conman who has cheated tens of thousands of people with his eloquent rhetoric, deceptive talent, and political connections. The head of the intelligence crime team, Kim Jae-myung, who's been tracking Chairman Jin for half a year, pressures the chairman's close colleague, Park Jang-gun, to reveal Chairman Jin's lobby records. Chang-gun, who's the brains of one network, senses something fishy and starts to think on his feet. Tae-myung, who's determined to reveal the truth of Chairman Jin and all of the people with power helping him. Chang-gun, who plans to turn this problem into an opportunity while making some money. And Chairman Jin, who realizes there are people working against him and starts planning a new strategy. Who will come out on top? The number 7 movie goes to the 2019 film The Gangster, the Cop, the Devil. This movie was directed by Lee Won-tae, who also directed Man of Will, and is another film I have a written review out for. The Gangster, the Cop, the Devil stars Dawn Lee, Kim Moo-yeol, and Kim Sung-gyu, and as you can probably tell by now, Dawn Lee is an icon when it comes to Korean action films. This is the 6th time being mentioned on this list. The film doesn't have the best story, but it's worth watching if you love yourself some Dawn Lee action. The synopsis of the movie is as follows. Chang Dong-soo is the boss of a massive gang, a mobster, a thug. He fears no one and everyone fears him. This powerful gangster comes across a serial killer who attempts to kill him by stabbing him multiple times. However, this devil finds the gangster to be too strong and ultimately fails to finish the job. He flees the scene, Dong-soo ends up being hospitalized and miraculously survives the incident. With his blood boiling with rage and fury, he schemes to find the man who tried to murder him and get his revenge. Meanwhile, Kim Moo-yeol, the cop, connects the dots of the several murder cases that recently took place and learns that Dong-soo also fell victim to the devil. Thus, he meets and persuades Dong-soo to partner up in finding the serial killer, and the pursuit of the devil begins. Moving along, the number 6 spot goes to the 2013 action film, Suspect. Although the movie was released nearly 7 years ago, I only recently saw the film as it was on Netflix, and I must say, it has one of the best action of Korean action movies. It has similar elements as to The Man from Nowhere, and Kong Yoo is simply amazing in the film. The movie also features cast members Park Hee-sun, Jo Sung-ha, Yoo Da-in, and Kim Sung-gyu, and was directed by Won Shin-yeon, who is responsible for other directorial works such as The Battle, Road to Victory, Memoir of a Murderer, and 7 Days. The story is hard to understand and is confusing at first, but clears up as it progresses. One minus of the film is the over-the-top car chase scenes it has. What is the car Kong Yi is driving? It's simply indestructible. Also, the shaky camera work during the car chase makes even the audience carsick. Other than that, the movie is something that I definitely do recommend if you love action movies. The synopsis is as follows. Special Agent Ji Dong-chul defects to South Korea after being betrayed by the North and losing his family. His sole goal is to find the people responsible for the death of his wife and daughter. Working as a driver while trying to get to the bottom of the incident, he witnesses the murder scene of a close acquaintance, Chairman Park. Chairman Park passes along to him an object right before passing. Dong-chul is framed as the suspect of Chairman Park's murder and is chased down by the authorities. With the police forces on his tail, he must continue chasing his target while not getting wrongfully captured. Before going into the top 5 list, can you guess which movies were my personal favorite Korean action films? Have your favorites come out yet? Comment down below what you think the top 5 will be. Then without further ado, let's get into the top 5. The number 5 action film is the 2013 movie Cold Eyes. Cold Eyes also has double directors, Cho Hee-seok and Kim Byung-seo. Both these directors were mentioned before in this list. Cho Hee-seok directed the number 8 film, Master, and Kim Byung-seo directed the number 10 film, Ashfall. Cold Eyes stars the likes of Seo Kyung-gu, Chung Woo-sung, Han Hyo-joo, Kim Byung-wook, Jin Young, and Junho of 2PM, and the synopsis of the movie is as follows. The Korean Police Force's Special Crime Department is a team of incredible masterminds who use their special sense skills to catch criminals. The leader of the team, Hwang, recruits a new member named Ha Yun-ju who has a profound memory to the team. Shortly after the recruitment, an armed robbery with essentially no traces left behind takes place. The leader of the crime, James, continues to leave the Special Crime Team in confusion as they chase after him. The Special Crime Team must do whatever it takes to solve the case. Next, the number 4 Korean action film goes to the 2014 release movie, The Divine Move. The movie features a lineup of Chung Woo-sung, Lee Bum-soo, An Song-gi, Kim Min-kwon, Lee Si-young, An Gil-gang, and Choi Jin-hyuk, and was directed by Cho Bum-gu, who also directed Quick and Riverbank Legends. The Divine Move combines two very different things that you wouldn't really think had any correlations: the board game, Paduk, or Go, and action. If the Korean game Hwatu has the film Tacha, Paduk has the Divine Move. The synopsis is as follows. The professional Paduk player, Tae-seok, loses his brother to an infamous underground gambler, Sal-soo, after losing a high-stake game. Tae-seok finds himself framed for the murder of his own brother and is locked up in prison. While in prison, he vows for revenge and trains ferociously. After serving his 7-year sentence, he forms a team to get his vengeance. The team is composed of his brother's old colleague, Gong-soo, a carpenter named Ha, and a blind master of Paduk, nicknamed Jesus. The team schemes for revenge and takes out Sal-soo's gang one by one. However, Sal-soo then discovers the identity of Tae-seok, and the battle that'll settle the two men's fate begins. Moving on to the number 3 movie of the list, the number 3 movie is the 2018 film, Believer. This movie was directed by Lee Hae-young, who also did The Silenced and Foxy Festival, and has the amazing actors Cho Jin-wook, Ryu Jin-yeol, Kim Ju-hyuk, Kim Sung-ryung, Park Hae-jun, Seo Yeon-woo, Kang Seung-yeon, Jung Ga-ram, Jin Seo-yeon, and Lee Ju-young. One of the most memorable things about this movie for me is the performances by the late Kim Ju-hyuk and Jin Seo-yeon, who played the druggies. The movie has a very unique vibe, and not only has good action, but also great suspense as well. The synopsis of Believer is as follows. Following an unknown explosion, 2 unknown people come to Detective Wono, who's been chasing after a drug organization for a long time. With their help, he meets Asia's biggest drug tycoon as well as an unidentified member of the organization and is able to find a definite clue of the drug crime. This is just the start, as Wono must chase after and defeat the drug lord. The number 2 movie of the list of best Korean action movies goes to another 2018 film, The Witch, Part 1, The Subversion. This mystery action film stars Kim Da-mi, Cho Min-soo, Park Hee-sun, Choi Woo-sik, Go Min-si, and Ta-eun, and was directed by Park Hun-jung, who also directed VIP, New World, and The Tiger. This is one of those rare Korean films where the English spoken is actually good. Choi Woo-sik, having lived abroad, executed the English acting very well. I recently watched this movie again because it was airing on TV, and Kim Da-mi's acting is just extremely chilling. A totally different side to her compared to her recent K-drama role in Itaewon Class. The movie kinda starts falling apart near the end, but I guess this was done to build up hype and expectations for the sequel, and so that they can extend upon the story in part 2. From last I heard, the production for part 2 was supposed to begin this year, but has been delayed due to the pandemic we are facing, and was supposed to release next year, but this may also be delayed accordingly. I'll update any new info I get and keep you guys updated. Nonetheless, the synopsis of The Witch Part 1 is as follows. Cha-yoon is a little girl who lost all of her memory after escaping a facility following an accident 10 years ago. An older couple discovers Cha-yoon, who's in the state of not even being able to remember her age or name, and takes her in as their own daughter. Years later, Cha-yoon auditions for a TV show in order to help her family out financially. After the show airs, strange people start showing up and start interfering with her and her loved ones' lives. What is the truth behind Cha-yoon's mysterious past, and what happened that made these strange people chase after her. And finally, the number 1 action film of my choice. The number 1 spot goes to the 2017 film, Steel Rain. Steel Rain stars the amazing actors Chung Woo-sung, Kwak Do-won, Kim Kap-soo, Kim Hee-sung, Lee Kyung-young, and Cho Woo-jin, and was directed by Yang Woo-seok, who also directed The Attorney, as well as the sequel to Steel Rain, Summit Steel Rain, which is expected to release later this year. The movie had great acting by the main lead duo, Chung Woo-sung and Kwak Do-won, and I have a written review of this film, so check it out for more details. The synopsis of the movie is as follows. A coup has arisen in North Korea. North Korea has declared war on South Korea and the United States. The North's supreme leader has escaped to the south with Chol-woo, a North Korean national security agent. With the injured leader in the south being protected by and South Korea proclaiming martial law, and Kwak Chol-woo, a chief foreign security agent for the ROK, must work together to prevent a nuclear war breaking out. That concludes today's video on my list of best Korean action movies. Some movies you believe that are worthy of being on the list may not have been included, but please remember that this list was based on my personal taste. If you have differing views, I'd love to hear them in the comments down below or on the Eontalk Telegram group. Also, if you enjoyed this video and would like more similar videos like this, be sure to like this video and subscribe to show me that you are interested. Lastly, join the Eontalk Patreon if you would like to show your support in what I do. Once again, thank you to everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next one.